So, thank you for joining what is the final part of the Halloween specials. Today we're going to a place that I've not been to since the late 90s. And yes, I am that old that I was alive in the late 90s. I might not look, I'm losing train of thought. This is Nocton Hall and Nocton Hospital, now abandoned and sat derelict. It's one of the big infamous tourist abandoned spots in Lincolnshire. It's been derelict since about the mid-90s. The hospital has been used 3 times by the American military, and when they were finished with it in the 90s is when I believed it was closed. This archway was the old entrance into the hall's gardens. The old hall has seen, so where the hall is, there's been a hall there for hundreds of years, and the one that sits there now has been there since 1841. I will not be looking at the camera because it is muddy as hell down here and I'm going to fall on my arse. It was built for the Earl of Ripon in 1841, and then during the First World War it was used by the US military. The US Army left it in 1919 and it was again sold privately, this time to William Dennis, I think his name was. I might not have that right. But as World War II was starting, the RAF acquired it to be the number 1 RAF hospital in Lincolnshire. But even before it had finished being prepared, it was deemed too small, and Rorsby, that is nearby, was the number 1 RAF hospital, and they leased it to the US military again. In 1945, and it being peacetime, it was perfect size for the RAF, so they had it as the RAF military hospital until 1983, when they had no more use for it, and again they leased it to the American Army in 1984, and it became a big army hospital base for the American military. Over 1,300 members of American staff would work on this site, from Travis Airfield in Fairfield in Northern California, which is somewhere I would love to be. Now they had it as a contingency hospital, which they would use for the Gulf War in 1991. You would have American personnel, so Lincolnshire has loads of RAF, technical number, and they would all be stationed there, and they would get the bus to this site to work during the Gulf War. When the Gulf War was winding down, only 19 Americans stayed on site to look after it. They handed it back in 1995, and since it has been derelict, and It's just over my shoulder now. So I'm going to try and jump in here and there and put in some pictures from the spots that I am and how they look now. So this picture is from this spot. I've matched up the building to where I am, and the lamppost that you can see on the right tells us that this is this spot. And this is how the gardens used to look when you used to come out of the old hospital and look across to the hall. And so I thought, for the last of my Halloween specials, let's do the most infamously abandoned place in Lincolnshire. One of them anyway. And I'll tell you more about it inside, and I'll show you how it's looking today. The hall was burnt down. Wasn't burnt down. There was a fire in 2004 and 5, and it's been destroyed. It's just a shell. So I'll put up all the pictures on, but not allowed to see. So I'm going to use this picture as a little run-along guide of whereabouts we are as we explore the inside. This picture is taken from 1983. If I just move it up, I'll show you. And we are currently in this position, and we are walking down here. So beneath all that theft and shrubbery, there is a path, and that is the last remaining lamppost. All the others have been taken. And as we know, Americans love their flag, and that is the flagpole that was remaining over from when the Americans were there. So we have made our way here, which is the old station headquarters, and here is a couple of pictures of how it looked, and we are walking into the old station headquarters. I will point out from the old pictures where the bridge is and the pond that you can see on the pictures. So we are basically stood where this young chap is. I'll just see the end room.
Yeah, that's the station commander's office, so it's a nice big one.
Ah. So now walking our way back up from where we started, and the next clip will be from this position, and then we will go into this Nissan hut.
In the 1970s, it was used by the Wise Club. So they used it, the military Wise Club. And they had the thrift shop and various things to use it for. So these three huts that are over here, they're used in churches.
So where I was scraping off the moss is here, and to this side is the MT section, and straight ahead of me is the old NAFI, and we work our way down to what was the old social club.
markings there that looks like the system was up there with a pipe going down. So there's a possibility it was in this corner. Okay? So we know the stage was here.
Very wet looking.
So just the same as before, we are in the same spot, but we're walking down that road now.
So everybody gets excited at that point.
Now it's at this time that I will tell you that your friend and humble narrator gets a tad bit confused. I will still try and tell you where we are. I believe we're here, but I'm less confident now. But I'll try and keep you updated, but might not be as accurate. I believe that this is the sterilisation department.
I've been so curious as to what went on here, because there's a lot here still, isn't there? You've got the benches, you've got the cupboards, you've got the drawer casings there, what drawers would it be? The clue to what went on in here is behind these walls. Behind these walls.
Yeah. different cultures, the way they deliver their babies is by squatting, and this room is for people of those cultures to deliver babies in that way. Easier to work out when you're back outside. So we are now here, which is where the cricket pitch and pavilion was.
Pavilion, that's the other building.
So now I believe we're in this corridor here. So it was this corridor that was said to be haunted by the Grey Lady. She would walk down this aisle and then turn the corner, as we are doing now, before she would fade away. The lady that was giving us the tour said that she's had nurses who remember being terrified and never looking up when they were in that part of the hospital.
Just be careful with it being wet, it could be slipping. If you look at the old plan, the old map of the site, you'll see a road coming here. So
So at this point I will start saying goodbye to you all. My little picture doesn't have this part of the hospital on it, and my SD card gets full, and the pictures and video I took on my phone I wasn't too happy with, so I'll leave them out. There was hardly anything left to see really, but the before and after pictures I've been trying to do on the video, I didn't have the before pictures before I went on the tour, so that's why they don't really make sense, and I'm trying to force them to be before and after pictures, because I'm not at the right angle. So I will revisit this location if they're still running tours next summer, and I'll focus more on the pictures, because I really enjoyed that. This is the mortuary, so this is where the bodies were laid when they were doing the autopsies, and in a second we get to the observation window. This would have been the little refrigerator bit, and that would have been the observation window. So yeah, thank you for watching it. It's been quite a long video. Please like and subscribe. Thank you if you've watched all my Halloween episodes. I've really enjoyed doing them, so I hope you've enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for your time. Take care now. Bye.